of the Reuters news agency, red head, approving the legislation to remove the president. We're all excited, or we're about to be, about the Grand Prix around here in Washington now that we just survived America's Great State Fair, or whatever that was called, the whole 4th of July bash, the Guinness Book. By the way, did we hear from Guinness? Did we set a record with the fireworks? Or the air show, for that matter? We've had a lot going on around here. That was after the UFC fight. I never did get on the Ferris wheel, but there's more coming. Hang on. The Grand Prix is next. It actually takes place next month, but the President of the United States is embracing it today. Pay no attention to Speaker Johnson. Before that happens, the President has got IndyCar champion Alex Palou and other top drivers at the White House for what they are calling the Grand Prix Showcase, serving to promote the inaugural D.C. Grand Prix, the Freedom 250 scheduled to race through Washington in August. Remember this? We did talk about it. I know there's a lot to remember these days, but it takes place August 22nd, 23. It's free, 2 days, a 1.7-mile, 7-turn temporary circuit. This is the track that will run directly through the National Mall, passing the Capitol and the Monument, where they were flying the jets 2 weekends ago. Is Steve here? He's going to be all over this. Free to the public, and it's going to be live on TV as well. This will include a half-mile straightaway down Pennsylvania Avenue. I got to see this to believe it. And something tells me there will be an artist's rendering or a digital something or other when the president speaks today. So just file that away. That's going to come up about an hour from now. If they're on time, you know I'm going to bring you in there. Tyler mentioned she was over at Union Station. There's a big IndyCar display over there. Are you an IndyCar guy, or are you by default a NASCAR guy as America's dad?
I went to Purdue, so it's all Indiana.
It's all,
I'm sorry, it's all IndyCar.
Okay, got it. Maybe you can tell me how, because I don't really understand what I'm looking at. I see it looks cool, but I don't know how they do any of this stuff.
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously, I'm more F1 than IndyCar, but what I'll say here is that, at the end of the day, I know that the IndyCar is going to have a great show, but it's also going to be 115 degrees outside, so I probably won't be there.
The end of August in D.C.? Wow. Although we just did this. Now, you just came back from your tour of the North, we'll say, where the air was cool and the water was freezing cold. We were sweating to the oldies down here, Nathan, on the mall. It was 105. But just so you know, I got up to the roof to see the Thunderbirds, and it was pretty excellent.
Nice.
We missed you around here. You're back, and so are lawmakers. I know you coincide your schedule, right?
Yep.
You don't leave town when lawmakers are busy. So they're coming back here, and the speaker's making tracks to the White House today, and I guess we'll start there. Nathan is, of course, the senior U.S. policy analyst at Bloomberg Intelligence, and that's partly why you listen on Mondays. His podcast drops when you get this podcast. The floor is closed. Nothing's changed since you left. Anna Paulina Luna is literally holding the House hostage. So what's the ask from Mike Johnson today?
I don't know what the ask is other than to President Trump saying, look, President Trump, time's of the essence here, and if you don't want to be a legislative lame duck as of today, you need to help me move this needle, because we need to get something passed other than just kicking the can. Because look, on the Senate side, with Senator Lindsey Graham's death, with Senator McConnell not being in town, you just take 53 votes, you put it down to 51. Senator Collins in Maine, she's not going to be really interested in reconciliation all that point right now. So if you don't get a Reconciliation 3.0, and if you don't get the Clarity Act, which I know we may talk about, if you don't get agreement on NDAA, if you don't agree, all you're going to get is a kick of the can. And if the Democrats win in November, it's the end of President Trump's legislative legacy.
So what's number one? First of all, when you say move the needle, we're talking about moving a congresswoman, a single lawmaker. Then again, there could be others behind her, I guess, backing this effort. They're not happy about Save America not passing. That's her cause. We've got an NDAA, though, that needs to go somewhere, and Democrats are now MIA on this. They're not happy about what's happening with Iran. Can we even get defense spending out the door?
I don't think so. I mean,
really?
Look, I mean,
this is the so-called must-pass.
The NDAA, I think you'll get some form of it, but you're not. It's going to be one of those NDAAs that if it passes, nobody's going to be happy with it, because like President Trump has said, look, we want the biggest budget in U.S. Department of Defense history that includes $350 billion to come from reconciliation. I don't think you're going to get that. But at the end of the day, there's only so much time left before September 30th, because Senate's back today. They're here for a couple of weeks. Then they go home for August. And this is one of those elections where, because affordability is such the key message right now, and that's not the message you're getting through the national news cycle. You're getting Iran, you're getting geopolitics. This is one of those election cycles where every single politician who's running right now wants to be back in their home district, and they want to be there. They don't want to come to Washington. So what do you get when that? You usually get kick of the cans. So, when it comes to the CR in September, and I don't think there's going to be a shutdown, but, when it comes to a lot of this stuff, I think the Congress is just going to say, look, at the end of the day, we've tried, we've run out of time, kick the can, let's move on to the election.
Well, this sounds familiar, but then we got, another 2 years of that? 2.5 years of kicking the can. Assuming Democrats take the House.
Yeah, if the Democrats take the House, the biggest risk to companies out there, if you're a CEO right now, be prepared for a subpoena if you've been working with close to the White House.
Well, okay.
Because the House Oversight Committee will fall under the Democrats.
Yeah.
And the Democrats can say, look, we can investigate the White House. That's fine. They'll do that. But they're also going to investigate companies.
It's like half the S&P 500 you're talking
So
about.
if you are a company and you're seen being working with the White House at any time be prepared for a subpoena. Now, from the company perspective, we're not saying there's nefarious action here, but far from it.
Sure.
But what we're saying here is no company from a lobbying perspective wants to be on the sitting end of a subpoena to the House Oversight Committee.
Right.
And so it's just going to be an uncomfortable situation. It's not really going to, I wouldn't even put this down and saying, you need to trade off of this or have impacts over this. But if you're looking at mergers and acquisitions, if you're looking at just special deals, if you're looking at anything in particular, look for the bully pulpit that President Trump has used within the first 2 years of his presidency. If the Democrats take the House Oversight Committee, look for the bully pulpit to come from the Democrats as well.
That's something. Throw another log in the fire. This is going to be hearing heaven, to your point. The Washington Post this morning has President Trump's two sons, Don Jr. and Eric, amassing a portfolio of defense technology startups benefiting from new Pentagon contracts. Most of the investments have taken place since the president was elected for a second time. Companies have collectively generated at least $3.2 billion in direct government business since the sons invested, and an additional $3 billion in future contract options. Doesn't matter if it's illegal, you still get a subpoena, is your point.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's illegal. It's the same thing that happened back in the crypto era under the tail end of the Biden administration. Former SEC Chairman Gary Gensler used to say, come in and register, come in and talk to us.
Yeah.
And, the crypto companies, some of them tried, some of them didn't. And there was always going to be a court outcome of this. And the companies would say, look, we did nothing wrong here, but you still had to go to court. And you still had to pay that money, and you still had to pay that legal expense. And so that's where I'm saying is that, the companies can say, look, we've done everything legal and everything by the books.
Sure.
The House Democrats could come back and say, yeah, but you still got to talk about it.
We still need to ask you about it. While you're with us, I want to ask you about what was the big story over the weekend, the passing of Lindsey Graham. And obviously, there's a personal side to this. A lot of people are paying tribute to who the president called a great American, a great patriot. There are big questions about what it means for legislative business, however. The president talked about it, if we have time, on Fox and Friends this morning. Not only his heartfelt thoughts about Lindsey Graham, but what it's going to mean for business in Washington. Listen.
We lost a great man. He was a great man. He was a great politician, and he was a kind man. And you know who really lost? Israel, Ukraine, a lot of countries that he really fought for. And they lost somebody who was very special. But the real loser was the United States of America. We lost a great person, a kind person, a very smart person, and a great. They ask me sometimes, what do you think? He was a great politician. We have mostly bad politicians. We have stupid politicians all over the place. This guy was a great politician.
A former rival, of course. But the president's invoking his name on social media posts around the Clarity Act, around the Save America Act. Will that help to move these bills, or does this departure make it much more difficult to pass them?
It won't help. I mean, I'll just say it right now, it won't help. On the crypto space, it's not up to the Republicans, it's up to the Democrats. And you need those moderate Democrats to come across the line. So President Trump's embracing of Senator Graham on clarity, it's not going to really move the needle on Democrats. And when it comes to the Save America Act, the votes just aren't there. I mean, whether it's via reconciliation, whether it's a talking filibuster, the votes just aren't there, and they won't be there months before the election, especially when a lot of these senators are in races where they want to be reelected. So, ultimately, when it comes to legislation in particular, whether it's crypto or Save America or anything, at the end of the day, I think the most you can expect is just kicking of the can of funding into next year.
This is exactly what he's telling our clients, and he brings it to you straight right here on Balance of Power. Nathan Dean from Bloomberg Intelligence. Thank God he's back in town. Did you do any salmon fishing or anything?
No, just lots of hiking.
Yeah, all right. You look good. You look healthy. How's Chicago look? Is the city in good shape?
Oh, I had so much great food.
Yeah?
It was great.
Family's well?
Family's well.
Where'd you get the pizza?
Lou Malnati's.
Malnati's. Yep. All right. We'll be jealous together of Nathan Dean. Until we're back to Chicago, this program will return. We'll also, by the way, return today with our signature panel, Rick Davis and Jeannie Shanzano on the way.